Greetings. For some time now I wanted to do a video on Lightroom and how I use it, because I use it differently. When I do an event I use Lightroom. When I'm doing my own photography I very rarely touch Lightroom. But when I'm doing an event, there's one every year which I have to do, where I take the pictures and then during the evening, actually for their sort of networking, meal and entertainment, they want some of the pictures during the day presented and posted up on the wall. They project them with some rather extensive projection systems, which is nice, but on the other hand, being on your feet and starting at sort of 7 o'clock in the morning and then all the way through, and then trying to capture everything you want to capture, and then at the same time try and produce images that you can deliver, means that you've really got to be very quick and very slick, and have no time for slider bars. So this is my way. Like almost everybody else, obviously you load the images up into Lightroom, and then you go through and you mark over the ones that you want and the ones that need editing. My first pass, of course, I'm only really concerned with producing enough that can be put and projected on the wall, and I'm not going to get into trying to make them perfect. I'm trying to make them presentable and good enough for that projection. As it happens, the way I do it actually works pretty well for that. So I start with basically rating 5 for those that I wouldn't edit anymore, and I then work on rating 4 for those that I'd like to edit, and everything else becomes 1, 2 or 3. So my main aim is, on the Lightroom screen, is always to work on the left hand side with my presets. It'll become clear how I work that way, but I try and avoid all the sliders and all the options on the right hand side, because you've got to work very fine-tuned and it's just very annoying. So what I've done is I've created myself a set of presets that do the changes on the right hand side, but by a simple click on the left hand side. So what you see is, on the left hand side I've basically got a set of presets which are numbered, and each of them deal with a particular area of the right hand side where the slide bars are. So that 10, 20, 30 is a grouping for dealing with each of those things on the right hand side, such as exposure and contrast and the like. Now in all of these cases, 10, 20, 30 and so on are a reset, so that they basically set all the sliders back to where they were. And the reason for that is rather interesting, because if I go and make a whole load of changes using Lightroom with the scroll bars, then if I actually undo things, I have to sort of undo them in the order in which I did them. Whereas I don't. I can change the exposure, change the contrast, then move on to sharpness and everything else, and then reset the exposure with a simple click of the button. And so that I'm not trying to play with scroll bars and reset them and move things around and remember where I was, or hit the reset button and have to start again. I can literally undo each change I've made. So the following is just a simple example where the different images are just a simple click, and all it does is it changes just that area and just that particular permutation, depending on what I think is appropriate. Here's another example where I increase the vibrance of the image and make it more sort of more attractive and luminant and sort of brighter. And again, I can make other changes and then reset that again if I don't like it, having made other changes such as contrast. Of course, once I've gone through that process, then of course I have some images that are okay, and some that do actually require further fine-tuning. But for the purposes that I have, which is delivering a first batch of images actually on the day, right in the middle of trying to do photography from 7 o'clock in the morning, and then at 6 o'clock I have to deliver images, and I probably have to deliver something in the order of about 100 to 150 just for that evening. It takes a long time with all the scroll bars. I can shortcut that, deliver them to be good enough for that evening, and then do the rest in more detailed form at a later time. Hope that helps. Till next time.